Welcome to the latest episode of Platform Podcast. Today's guest is Gabe Talamantes.
Because I'm Gabe Talamantes!
It's been a while since I've done an episode of the podcast, mainly because it's been summer and we've been filming and skating and skating and skating. So not really time to sit down and spend hours doing a podcast or editing a podcast, finding the footage for it, etc., etc. But now that the winter months are coming in and just spending a lot of time editing, I've got more time at home. The weather in Scotland is truly awful. So I thought it was time to pick these back up. Gabe has been on my radar for years and years, way before I even started wheel scene. I remember he used to be a part of the Razors team. I think he was amateur for them, or Flow, and he put out a bunch of sections when they used to do the old Razors news videos, the kind of video podcast series that they had for a while. And he had quite a few doing promos for like the Aragon Pro skates, or there was a day edit where he went back to back with Sean Darst back when Sean was skating Razor skates. And I think he took a break or at least stepped back from rollerblading for a while. But in recent years, he's been back on the scene. He's been appearing at multiple events across the US. And I love his Instagram account. He's got so much good footage on there. He just had a recent one that had a beautiful torque slide in it. I'll try and find the clip. And he's also just brought out a section for Orange Wheel Company. So what I find out how he got hooked up with them, talk about the section. I know that he's been injured recently. He's been skating a lot with Yandriel Silverio, and he's been a part of the Chicago scene for a long time. Chicago has produced some phenomenal skaters over the years, like Sean Darst, Colin Martin, Matthew Ladusky. Chicago's got a really rich history in rollerblading, so I want to tap into that. What I find out about his musical tastes, and if he shares my affinity for, in my opinion, Chicago's greatest band of all time, the Smashing Pumpkins. If he says any other artist other than that, I'm firmly disagreeing with him. But yeah, loads to talk about. I don't really know that much about Gabe, so I'm looking forward to talking to him and just finding out as much as I can. But before we do that, cue the music.
Dude,
Hey.
I mean, I'm sorry.
what was the difference that time?
I'm at Yandi's house because I don't know. I have a roommate and I'm allergic to my cats and I can't like breathe at my house. He's got a humidifier right here. He's got it all set up.
Right, let's break some of that down. You've got cats, but you're allergic to them.
I love them, so I mean, I've always liked animals. So I've saved a lot of cats and brought them to my families. And I don't know. I just have cats. I suffer for them, I guess.
Okay. How long have you had these cats?
Probably like 3 years now, but I've had cats before that.
Right. And yet you've not built up any
Is this crooked? Is this screen fine?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Is Yandriel in the room with you right now?
He's upstairs. He's doing work on his house, so I'm in his living room.
Okay.
He's doing work.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, right. He wanted me to ask you what you do for work outside of this because he's never asked you. And I was thinking in the car, like I was like, am I allowed to ask him questions? Because you
can ask whatever. I am open book. You can ask whatever you like. But now that I know Yandriel's upstairs, that means we can talk shit about him in standard, and he can't hear us, so it's fine.
Nah, I don't do any of that. Plus, I don't get involved. I'm not a whistleblower.
You don't need to be. Yandriel already ratted himself out.
See, I mean, I keep up with stuff, but like, I guess I don't listen all the time. So,
for a day job, I work for a company that makes television subtitles for deaf and hard of hearing people. So
That's pretty awesome. You're helping people out.
it's a very boring job though. But yeah, yes, yeah, we
Yeah.
provide good. Um,
You're giving people access to something otherwise they can't do. So that's pretty cool. So.
exactly, exactly. Um, congratulations on the new section.
Yeah, thank you. I
Even though
wanted to say
since
something about that
yeah,
because
since I was like new sections coming out, and you were like, yeah, don't get too excited about it, and I'm like, don't play it down before I've even seen it.
oh, you didn't watch it?
Of course, I've watched it. I've watched it a bunch of
Okay.
times, but when I shared the thing, being like, "Can't wait to see this tomorrow," you're like,
Oh yeah.
"Oh, well, like, oh, like it's not going to be that good." Like, don't, yeah. Of
I mean, I have a lot to say about that, but I don't know if you just want to crack right into it.
course, it like, what do you? Because you, right? I couldn't remember whether you said you were injured while filming it or whether you got injured in that cut filming short. Like, what was it?
No, that was definitely me skating to my like not fullest potential, but I mean, I was only skating those orange wheels. So I was kind of like hyped to film something. Like I already film like a lot of like Instagram stuff cuz I just like to skate and I just also like to create stuff. So like I'll be listening to like music all day and like while I work and stuff. And I'll just want to like skate and create something and I'll just do that. But like that, it gave me like the opportunity to be like, okay, like let's get the cameras out. And I hadn't done that in like I think I had like a street section like 10 years ago. Like people don't know that I feel like some people know me now, but some people don't like relate it to the fact that I used to be like skating for razors.
Oh, I
But I just
definitely
never
do. I remember it well. Yeah.
yeah, but I just like I just never really got to talk about why. So I was like, yo, I could talk about skating forever, but then I was like overthinking like what I was gonna talk about now because I'm like my whole life has been about skating, but it's just been like a lot of ups and downs.
Okay.
So
Um, right.
it's
No,
been
but you
good
you
though.
you did tell also. I'm calling you out on the filming thing because you do film all the time. You might just not film with a camera, but you film with a phone
No,
because
I
you're
just
you're
meant
always you're
like
always putting out Insta clips and good ones at
that's
that.
different.
Because
It's different.
okay, I do know what you mean. Yeah,
Like I'm 34, like sometimes making a part is like cool for yourself.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like I wanted it to be cool for me. But when I was filming that, I only got to skate like 6 times with cameras. Like we had got together and skated 6 times and then I got injured. So I was like, I don't even know. And I didn't want to sit on the footage,
Right.
but I was skating really well because I was like really juiced from like skating in New York, getting put on. Like I realized my like worth again in skating because I was like putting in the work because it's like hard to value your own skating because you're the one doing it. But I was like really a lot of affirmation. So it like
Okay.
motivated me, but I just like to skate. So it was on top of that, I just felt good. But then I
Oh,
got hurt, so I felt not good. And I don't know. Yeah.
so how did you get injured?
I mean, there's a video. I didn't want it on my page. I like talked about it a little bit, but it's on Wicked Slams. If anybody wants to see me get made fun of by a bunch of people in the comments. So,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
put.
I think I always think that that's funny. Like I knew when I was submitting that like people were gonna say something because it's just rollerblading and like we grew up with that.
Yeah.
So I kind of just view it as trolling. So I kind of try to reverse troll them in the comments, but I'm just one person. So like some people jumped in like Pablo.
Yep, of
There's
course he
people
did.
in the
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
just like blowing it up, and I'm like, hell yeah. But it's funny.
I'm going to pretend to know what Wicked Slams is. Is that like an
Oh,
Instagram?
it's like an Instagram page
Right.
just so shows like people getting so badly hurt. Like you probably shouldn't watch it, but I was just like, hey man, like rollerblading's real like shitty sometimes. And like people don't even see rollerblading a lot, so I just thought it'd be cool to even like if it's just a fall, like it got like a ton of views.
Okay.
And I'm just like that's what like people like either like it or they don't, but like a lot of people are like nobody says like, dude, that was pretty dope because you're not like showing them your skating, but they see your falls because that's what people are interested in.
Yep. Yep.
But we land stuff too, but it's a niche community. But I like it.
All right. Okay.
You,
I'll,
okay. Do you enjoy skating still? Like at this point in
I've
your life, does it feel more like
I
work, or you still love it?
I am nursing. I don't know if this will show up on the. I don't know if this will show up on the screen, but I am nursing the most horrendous shinner right now. I don't know if that's will that show up on the screen? Yeah, there you go. That's my
Oh
shin right
wow,
now.
that looks
Um,
disgusting.
it looks like
That you
Dawn of the
look that looks like a corpse's leg.
yeah, it
So
looks like Dawn of the Dead shit. Yeah. So there's a clip up on my Instagram of doing a Unity on a kink reel, and that was the very
oh,
first
that's from
attempt.
that. That's funny.
Very first attempt. And then after that I was like, well, we're invested now, so I guess we're going to
Yeah.
keep going. Oh yeah, definitely. For
So
I'm
yeah, you must love skating. I mean, you set your pain aside for it sometimes. So
well, it's just stubbornness more than anything else. Like, I feel like once the spot's taken something from you, then you need to somehow kind of level up and like you need to bring it back to even. Like if you start getting injured at a spot, I'm like I consider that like a point system, and the spots then get a point. So then you have to get a trick down it to get a point back, and then like yeah, so it's
oh man,
it's
see,
like an
I'm not
internal
as
thing I do in my
meticulous
head.
at it. Yeah, I get it. I mean, some people skate like that because you're just also like favoring your odds. But also like I look at all skating as like odds, I guess. But like I only do things when I'm confident these days. So I just like have to really feel it and like if I'm about to film something now, I'm just like just get the camera out. I'm like not even gonna try twice. I want to just do it. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
skating's dangerous, and
Yeah.
if you really do think of your odds, I mean, like if it's just dangerous, I mean, they're always against you. So, I mean, I just like do things that I'm confident in. But I mean, skating's pretty fucked up. Like you
It's
get hurt
yeah.
pretty bad. I mean, I have friends that don't get hurt a lot, like too much, but I mean, everybody gets like hurt a little
Yeah.
bit. Like,
There's
but we just have a different threshold for it because we just either like deal with it and it turns into stubbornness. But I mean, also we have like bad healthcare in America, so like a lot of people just don't let their injuries ever get looked at. So yeah,
yeah, there's that as well. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Plus, I've been thinking about this a lot recently because obviously, as you get older, you want your tricks to look like the best possible example of them that they can because you know if you've been skating for
you've
a
been
certain
doing it that long.
yeah,
Yeah,
like, so if you land something, you're like, no, I know I can do that better. But then depending on the obstacle, you might just want to take the first land because you're like, well, I don't really want to chance my luck because, like you said, rollerblading is dangerous. You can get hurt. It can involve a hospital visit so easily. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I got away with that and nothing bad happened. Should I just take that and move on? But then there's certain
yeah.
that your mind just won't let you do that. Your mind's like, no, you know you can roll away better than that, or you know you can like, yeah. So
I guess I have a response to that. I mean, now you kind of can like either film for a part or just have something just for something else. Like if you do something, but it's not exactly what you like, you shouldn't settle for it because you know you could do better, but sometimes something's definitely too dangerous. And like with yourself, you definitely have to be like, I either have this or I don't. But pushing your luck, like you need to be confident.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of injuries. Like I didn't know how we were gonna get into this conversation, but I mean, like I could literally just continue to talk because I feel like I have like, Yandy said something about me probably having Asperger's, but he was joking. But I was like, you know what? Like I don't know, but he has it. So I mean, like
I
if
saw
he
that
said
post and I was curious and is he outing Abe for having Asperger's,
no, I mean,
or is
I'm
Yandy
not
basically saying I
diagnosed
definitely have it
for
and
anything.
I see traits in you that yeah remind me of me. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just kind of spaced out, but maybe I just one time I said something, I forgot who it was, but it was just like most people who rollerblade probably are like neurodivergent because it was like a thing that was like nobody really liked, but you just fixated on. And like whether like people got it or not, like it just like gave us that feeling that like turned into like these passions, and that's why we still skate. But I mean, yeah, it's like just starting now to get gratifying. Like I'm 34 years old, but people are just now like reaping benefits from skating. I mean, I guess they used to like back when it was sick, but I mean, I have opinions on that like when it was new.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm deep in the hole. Like I've been skating forever. I like was on BMAG just reading the message boards, and I know everybody like from the internet growing up in like on the message boards like realm.
Okay.
Like it's funny though because I like watched like David Sizemore like on a P rail with like Cody Porsche, and it was like on the skate pile message board, and then they became pro. Like
Yeah.
it's funny. Like I watched skating get old, but like I don't know. I've just been skating like
It's
off and
yeah.
on.
I know what you mean. Like I imagine there's a lot of people that also don't like, for example, I imagine you obviously grew up skating with Sean Darst. I imagine there's a lot of people that don't remember Sean Darst when he was riding around on razors, for example. Like
Oh man,
to most people,
he
their like
barely
earliest
did
Sean
that, by
Darst
the
would be
way.
like Valo.
He
What?
barely did that. So like
But the evidence
Brazil put him up to
the
that.
evidence is still out there.
Well, Brazil put him up to that. And if people don't know who Brazil is, like he was the one that kind of put me onto razors because he was just in the area and he was doing stuff with them. But yeah, that was 100% Brazil's idea. Sean hated razors. I mean, there was a
Okay.
point where he had Genesis, but I mean, I don't know why Sean hated razors. I skated razors. I loved razors. This is nothing against razors. Plus, I love Jeff Akers. Like, yeah.
So was that
Uh,
see that video where you guys like filmed a 1 day edit together? Was that like that must have been pre Honey Baked era though, wasn't it?
I think it was right around the same time.
Okay.
I mean, he was skating like, yeah, he was skating Valos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like Sean used to live here. We grew up skating,
Yeah.
and like he was skating Valos when he left. He moved a few times, so yeah. I just saw him yesterday. It was super random too. So
Okay. So what, he's back in
he's just
Chicago?
visiting family. He's just
Right.
visiting family, and he like films with Malcolm every now and then.
Yeah.
Malcolm lives not too far from here, so yeah.
Does he still skate that much regularly though? Because I thought he was really into like making music at the moment, or like is it like techno music or like electronic music?
Yeah, I mean he makes techno music, but he makes mixes, but he'll also make music.
Yeah.
Um his thing is Time Cop.
Yeah.
You can find it on like Bandcamp, shout out. Um but yeah, everybody here does actually like I think the thing with rollerbladers, they all do really sick things, but also he skates, but he was injured, and it seems like for him, at least when I talked to him, he said he like picks one to focus on.
Right. Okay.
And like right now, he's really geeked on skating because he was just like, he remembers like feeling like an athlete, like just like going fast. And like that's what it is, straight up. Like skating is like athletic. And like he just wanted to get back to that,
Right.
back to filming. He's like filming with Sean. So
That's yeah. They brought Source Code brought out something like just this week or last week. But yeah, that kind of taps into what you're talking about, like the neurodivergent thing, because I think a lot of people.
you get sad just being hooked on one thing and
I,
thinking that you needed to fulfill everything sometimes. I don't know.
I don't know, but I think a lot of role players possess that like ADHD mentality where it's like hyper focused on it. Like to be obsessively sitting trying a
Definitely.
trick for like an hour, you've got to have that, like you've got to like be kind of deep into that spectrum, because most people would just go, no, like this
Yeah, they have
sucks.
some kind of common sense to what's rational or not. And like the thing with skating is like you're also pushing yourself to see if it's even possible. So like you're chasing that possibility is the reason like you could try for like an hour sometimes, but I mean trying for that hour will allow you to try for like 10 minutes the next time, like I've been skating a long time, so like things have been getting really consistent for me. So like I'm getting my comfort back, like jumping into rails. Like I've just had like traumatizing injuries, like, and I think
Same.
that's what's fucked me up, and like it kind of led me down like a bad path. Not like bad, but just like I wasn't skating. I was just like drinking a lot. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's because I saw that, like us obviously remember when you used to ride for Razors. I've seen on your Instagram thing that you're like alcohol free and stuff like that. Was that so? Did you stop skating for a while?
I mean, I feel like I always skated, but the thing with razors, like I was definitely boozing a lot when I was skating those, but like I was also like filming and doing well, but like I was kind of just like I don't know, I kind of just like didn't treat myself well, But so like I went filming one day and I was actually like super drunk. Like I got like day drunk with my neighbor and like we were friends, so we were hanging out. And I had actually just gotten like a pair of skates shipped to me. And it wasn't like not normal for me to like not skate drunk or like not drunk. Like I would always be a little drunk. Like I was good at it. Like I was like
Okay.
functioning like I thought it was like the thing. I mean, Chicago's different. It's a little weird. I mean, like I've lived here for a long time, but like I was drinking, I was going out to get a clip, and I immediately like jumped to the most dangerous thing. And it was like just like it's on the internet. My friend Jared filmed it. It's on YouTube. It's called Gabe Gets Broke.
Okay.
It's like it's in 4K. It's like me breaking my wrist, my elbow, and my humerus all in one fall. But in that clip, like I'm acting all weird and I'm like, yeah, I'm so drunk. Like it was pretty fucked up. Like I'm sober now because like I'm laughing because like for me, like getting sober was about like I just feel like I never gave a fuck about myself. And that turned into like a lot of like there's so much unaccounted time when you're drunk.
Yeah.
And it just kind of made me a crazy person. And that kind of like turns into more drinking. And then it wasn't crazy to think that like maybe drinking was the problem. So I stopped doing that. I know I'm bouncing around. Like I know
That's all
I
right.
do you know where we are at? Because I'm kind of bouncing around. I'm kind of
That's
confused, but I'm
that's all
like,
right.
yeah, I've been drinking. I'm rollerblading. So yeah, on razors,
I only asked that because I
skating.
saw I saw a Razors promo that you made at an outdoor park, and like every other clip, you're chugging a beer.
Which one?
It's like, I don't know. It basically
There
ends.
was so
It
there was
ends with
an
you like
edit, like
sitting
a
in a car
Mother's
drinking
Day edit.
beer, and you're sitting in the driver's seat, and I'm like, please God, please tell me he's not
Oh,
driving
that wasn't
somewhere.
a Razors thing. I mean, that was my friend. I mean, that was just like it was Mother's Day. I was in the
That was it.
suburbs.
The edit was called Mother's Day. It was called Gabe Talamantes Mother's Day or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was drinking the most from like my 20s to like my late 20s,
Okay.
but like it was like bad like in the beginning of my 30s because it was like just like COVID, and I was like COVID here was just like nobody had jobs and everybody like wasn't hanging out with each other and like Chicago's just like cold in the winter and I'm losing my place.
No, I get it.
Where am
I do know what you mean. Like it can, like when you're put in that situation, you're like, oh, and you kind of revert to things that, like, I don't know, when you're
There's
in
just
your,
way too much going on in like jumping to that part of my life because I'm just like I actually like forget some of my life. So thinking back, I'm like actually like recounting some steps as I'm communicating to you. So this is like not like therapy, but a little bit.
okay,
Like,
you're not the first
but
person to tell me that, but yeah, okay,
I mean, it's good to vent to somebody who like wants to listen, but I don't also think like there's a bunch of people watching right now because it's pre-recorded, so I'm talking a little different, I suppose.
exactly.
Uh, well, I noticed that it allows you to ask more questions and get comfortable with people. So
I don't think I'd be able to do it in a live setting because see when you've got like the live chat thing and people are asking you questions and you need to try and interact with that, I'd find that too
I don't
distracting.
think I could do it.
I'd rather
Yeah.
just do it like one on one, not have to deal with that like aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more private. It feels more like communicating.
Right.
Yeah.
We are going to jump around because we talked about the Orange
Okay.
Wheel Company edit, but we didn't talk about. So you're sponsored by Orange now. How did that come about?
I mean, they are they're doing some things now, so it's kind of like slow to be announced, so I don't want to like breach anything,
Well, they've
But
picked up people though because they picked up Martin Danning relatively
yeah,
recently,
I
and now
mean,
so it
Martin
seems
has the wheel, Larique is on there.
yeah.
But they just put Larique on, and I just feel like there's a process for them. I'm like on the team, but I mean, they don't even follow me back on Instagram. So I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, am I on the team?
Are you sure they're just
So
not
you don't
like? I
have to
mean,
put that in. But
I'm
all
I'm
I'm,
I'm inept to Instagram, so maybe they are too.
yeah, yeah, no, exactly. Because the two people that run it are like Dan and Imani, and they're like very like low profile, but like super nice. Like, yeah, I got put on with them, and like I basically had reached out because at this point, like I was like, I'm skating a lot. I'm burning through these parts. Like I feel like you don't really get anywhere if you don't at least like try. And like I just assume that like maybe I hit up a few companies just really random and I hit them up because I like what they do and I skate flat and I just like their profile. Like so they make like really like hard wheels, but like they're also like a really nice shape. They're round, but they're not like pointy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they're not like a bullet, but they're also not like square like a red eye wheel. Not like saying anything. Some people like that. But like I like a nice like rounded profile. Uh so yeah, I can't talk. I'm so
you can
nervous.
talk, and you're talking very well. I get, like, I understand. You like, see,
I lose like
I
where
kind
you
of,
started because I begin to just
I'll
talk.
pull it back. That's my job to pull it back. I understand what you're saying though. Like, if I don't really believe in this waiting for companies to approach you thing, because if you keep waiting, for all you know, it'll just never happen. Like, I'm a firm believer of the you don't ask, you don't get. Like, if you contact a company and say, "Hey, I like your stuff," you might get lucky, and they might be a fan of you as well. The amount of skaters I've spoke to who said they've reached out to a brand to say, love your frames, or da da da, or I'm riding these right now and they're great. And the company's like, holy shit, you like what we do? We love you. Let us send you stuff. Like that's
Yeah.
how these things happen.
Well, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just about creating a dialogue. I mean, essentially, like most of my approach was pretty just like standard, like business email, but just being like, I like love your product, or like, I like, I don't know if I could swear,
You can.
but okay, I was gonna say, or like, I fuck with the vision, like, cause some brands I just like, you know, but I always like supporting brands that I like, but I also just skate things because they feel good as well,
I was
I
about to say you're
suppose.
you're you're a
But
giant Fifth Element fan because you've been riding so many different versions of those setups in the past couple of years. Like,
yeah, I mean, I like that Valo Soul plate. Honestly, I just kind of struggled a lot with like finding a skate that like feels really good,
yeah,
like for my feet, for my ankle. And I like found a setup, and I'm just like, I don't want to like tinker with it really, you know? I'm just like, I found my formula, you know, and I just like, I feel dialed, you know, like I can pretty much just, I can figure stuff out as I'm going, but I can confidently do it in the skates I'm on, but that's because of the stuff I'm using.
yeah,
Because it's really just like equipment when you think of, I don't know, like skating. I feel like definitely like the things you use like allow you to skate a certain way. Like I remember
yeah,
skating a different skate and being like, this groove is so weird. It pushes you into the corner or this or that. But I mean, I'm a fan of Rossi's. I try to talk to them.
yeah.
I don't
Good, good luck with that.
know.
Good luck with that.
No,
Uh,
I talked to him. I've talked to Marco. Like I'm not all over the place, but going to New York definitely like opened some doors for me. Again, it was like affirming, like, you know, like I talked to these people on the internet, but also like meeting them. It's like I just like became really good friends with like Eugen and
okay,
Michael Fitzsimmons and Parker. I was already friends with like some of these people, but like these other people were just like conversational. And then it just jumped into like just like picking up off the internet where we left off in real life kind of stuff.
yeah,
So I was just like, you know, just hanging out with people. Like I just felt like in that frame, like my skating was enough. I felt validated just like thinking of like my own accomplishments because I'm like stoked. Like when I filmed my own like Instagram stuff, I feel like it helps a lot to watch yourself back, be by yourself, because like sometimes I can't film like with people, but like I usually can now. But I mean, I do the best like getting everybody in my car or whoever I'm skating with and just like driving around and being like, I want to do that and just doing it. But like Instagram, like if I'm just somewhere, I'll just set up the camera and kind of just mess with the angles. And you got to pull me back. Where was I going with this? Where was I going with this?
yeah. So we started about how you got hooked up with Orange Wheel Company, and you said obviously because you reached out to them, but you touched on something else that I wanted to ask on. You talked about the NYC Street Invite and like Metro Card Classic and hanging about with all those guys there, like Eugen and Mikhail Wietzman and Parker Richardson and stuff like that. What was that weekend like? Because it
Oh,
looked
I was talking about Ryan Parker, but I saw Parker too.
Ryan Parker.
Uh,
Sorry, why did I say Parker Richardson? I knew you meant Ryan
well,
Parker
Parker
because I
Richardson's
because you've
my
been to
friend.
you
He's
guys
a
were
good
hanging
guy.
out at was it last year he won King of Cleveland?
Yeah, Brian Parker won King of Cleveland,
Yeah. Weren't
like
weren't you
2 or 3
guys
years
I'm sure I
ago.
saw you guys. I'm sure I saw like Instagram
Yeah,
images of you hanging out that weekend as well. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we just always been like friends. I don't even know how. Probably it's just like skating and just like talking. Yeah,
You
but
guys
yeah.
have it's because you've got the dress code. You guys have both got the very similar dress code.
We don't dress the same. I mean, I like baggy clothes because I like, honestly, when I quit skating, I lost a bunch of weight. But I used to wear like baggy clothes anyways. But I started by like 2X because I was like when I got like depressed and like towards the end, like right before I sobered up, like I was like a good 220 pounds. I'm like 5'9". So I was like 50 pounds, 55 pounds overweight, basically. And like you don't notice it when you're experiencing it because you're just kind of watching yourself over days, not just like taking it all in. But yeah, I'm losing my track again. But
New
the
York.
dress code thing, I
Tell me
lost
about
a
New
bunch of
York.
weight and I just kind of always dress baggy. But I think dress code is important in skating, depending on how you take your skate. Like for me, I guess like the way you dress kind of shows like what you're into. I think if you're a professional, like it's like to show people like what your life is like without having to really like open your mouth. You
Okay.
know, like it's like if you're just like wearing a baseball cap and tight pants and like a large shirt that says like Harley Davidson, like you could be anyone, you know? And it's just like you're not gonna stick out to people like that. And I mean, I don't like have my mullet or my mustache because of like, I don't know, because I want to stand out, but essentially like I've always been into like just weird shit. And like my friends were the punk kids like in high school and like even before that. So yeah, I mean,
Well, I'm going to pull you up on this because I've seen an old video of you when you're singing R&B. You're singing your
I
name
love,
in
I'm
R&B
again,
song,
like I'm,
and you
uh,
mentioned emo kids, and you said it in quite a disparaging tone, which made me think he's not down with emo kids. So
no, man, no. Everybody experience, like I'm 34. Everybody experiences music at a different pace. Like I went from like punk music to like being like a closeted emo kid, you know, like listening to stuff like I couldn't tell my friends about, but like, you know, like I would sing Dashboard Confessionals and
hey,
stuff.
hey,
And
nothing wrong
like,
with Dashboard.
but like, yeah, I mean, that was just a brief time. I think I was like 14 or 15. But then like I went back and like skate videos and punk music and like briefly ska. Like there was a bunch of like ska kids in my high school. Like I graduated in '07. So like it was like peak ska. Like it was like the end of a ska era was like the beginning of 2010. I don't know about anywhere else, but like in the
Okay,
Midwest, like it's a dying art.
all right.
If you want to call it art. Do you know what ska is?
I do know what ska is, but only because, yeah, I remember bands like Real Big Fish and stuff like that, but I was never really into them. It had too much of a kind of reggae influence for me. I hate reggae music.
Well,
So,
no, reggae is bad, but ska is more like a punk influence with horns.
yeah,
But like if you
yeah,
make it reggae, it's like
that's not selling
complete.
it.
It's not my thing. That's not ska. I mean, there's like
I,
leftover
I,
crap
I
in
don't
bands
know.
like
I
that.
mean that. I just mean as in like they like infused elements of that kind of music into it, and I was like, I can't really deal with it. Plus, I was never really a kind of like punk. I always liked like alternative rock and metal. Punk, I always found punk a little bit just too like
I appreciate that now more than ever.
not. I felt like punk
Yeah.
didn't have enough like groove in it, whereas metal felt like it had like
It felt like a feeling.
layers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Also, that brings me on nicely to so Chicago has a rich musical history of several
Yeah.
bands that I am a huge fan of. So you need
Sure.
who in your opinion are the best musical acts to ever come out of Chicago? And there is, to be clear,
Whoa.
there are right and wrong answers.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's the ones you know, like Smashing Pumpkins,
There we go.
right?
That's yep.
And then there's like Chevelle is from like a suburb around here.
Okay.
I think Journey's from here.
I think they
Like, or
do.
like their bassist is from Des Plaines, which is in a suburb of Illinois. I just know like random things. Another reason why I think something's wrong with my brain. But yeah, my favorites. I mean, there's this band called Meatwave.
Okay.
They're really good. Uh, there's a lot of like post punk going on right now.
Right.
My roommate's actually in a band. He's playing tonight. Um, I mean, there's so many bands, and I could like, because I'm friends with like techno artists too. I
I do
mean,
quite like techno
I
music as well. So yeah,
I mean, I'll plug my homie. There's on Bandcamp. His name is Fudge, Fuj.
right.
He's pretty good. But if you're gonna check him out, you should definitely check Malcolm out
Oh yeah,
because
I've
they're
listened to Malcolm
homies.
stuff. I've listened to his Ten
Okay,
Cop
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, but there's a lot of good bands. I mean, Dead is from Chicago. A lot of people listen to that now, like DEHD. Uh, I mean, there's a lot of people that have come out of Chicago. I mean,
There
I kind
is.
of moved here to be like around the rich environment of music because it. I guess I've just kind of liked creative stuff like film, music. Like I like watching people do well at things in like a cool way. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I have a better time at a show when I see that the performer is not just like dialed in that but that he's like enjoying himself and like him sing or like them, not him, like anybody like performing is like kind of feeding off the crowd and the crowd's giving them that energy back. And like I go to like punk shows and metal shows and shit like that. I've been really into like hardcore
See, I
lately.
can hand.
Like,
I can't really deal with punk music. I think because when I think of punk, I think of like skate punk. But I can handle like hardcore music because
no, when I listen to punk, I
I
don't
enjoy
think of like
hardcore
no
music.
effect. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think because that's the era I grew up in. Like all the punk that was coming out was like
nah,
Offspring, Vaseline's, No Effects, like Punk and Drublic, like
nah.
all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I was listening to like Agent Orange and Crass
I do
and
like
like
Agent Orange. Yeah,
Anti-Flag and like The Exploited and Subhumans and just like I don't know. I grew up kind of middle class, like in like a mixed school, but like I hung out with like white kids because I was like a nerd, pretty kind of, you know.
right.
So and like I don't know. So I sound the way I do, but my parents don't sound like this. Like I embarrassingly can't speak Spanish, but I mean I did when I was a child. But yeah, I mean I grew up like hanging out with punk kids and skating, but like not like people like No Effects, but those were like the Puka Shell kids who were like Billabong too.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah. It just kind of reminds me of like I don't know DC shoes or like yeah something like that. Yeah,
yeah, but there's all different types of varieties of people. So like, yeah, I guess I'm like very vague when you say punk, everybody has a different opinion on it. But like, you know, people say real punk is dead, and maybe that's true.
okay. Right.
Everything comes from that though, like the gnarly stuff. I like heavy stuff that makes you feel stuff, you know.
Yeah, I've been listening to someone put me onto a band called Gel that are from New Jersey, and they're like a hardcore.
They're from, oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
And
I'm
like the
seeing
lead singer's
Gel
a girl,
with
and I was like, holy
my
shit.
girlfriend.
Yeah, they're incredible. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
Gel's amazing. I have tickets for them next month. They're playing at the Subterranean, I think, or the Vic. Yeah. I go
yeah.
to a lot of shows. I go to a lot of shows. Yeah.
Right. If you're truly from Chicago, I'm gonna give you the smallest soundbite ever, and you should be able to tell me the artist and the song. Right, you ready?
Okay.
Ooh,
Oh my God, that was terrible, but that was Disturbed,
there we go.
right?
What's the song
Oh,
though?
your voice cracked. I'm sorry to call it terrible, but I was like, hey, drink some honey. I was nervous before this because I'm like kind of sick now. It's fall, like it's transitioning, and I was like, like all day. But yeah, I
That's
smoke too much weed. I'm not like 100% sober. I smoke a lot of weed.
I mean, there's varying levels. Yeah, yeah. That was whenever someone mentions Chicago to me, that for some reason is just one of the first things I think of in like that
You think
video.
of Disturbed? That's
Oh,
crazy.
always been. I mean, I was never a fan, but I just remember the video being
I don't think they're
everywhere.
from here.
I'm pretty sure they're from Illinois.
Mm. I've never claimed them. So,
Um, but one of my favorite bands of all time growing up were the Smashing Pumpkins. Well,
oh, really?
up until Machina. After that, I lost interest.
What do
But
you
yeah,
think of Billy Corgan as a person?
yeah, he doesn't come across well, does he? Let's be
You
honest.
guys have the same haircut.
This is true. This is true. I
Yeah.
started. I was
I
briefly
think he's cooler now. I think he's softened up a little bit. Yeah.
potentially, but
I
yeah,
saw like a recent interview of him and he was just acting like a normal guy, you know?
there is that. But then there was the fact that none of the what was it? The bassist and the guitarist didn't get any royalties from Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness because he recorded all of their parts because they kept making mistakes too much during the recording process. And I was like, so they just don't get anything. Like they helped write the songs, but because
Man.
they're not on the album as actually like recorded, and I was like, that's insane. That isn't so. There's yeah,
That's incredibly poor taste. Like
so I
that's
was
just
like,
like
love the
I'm the
band,
kind
but
of
that's
person that's
brutal.
like I film people like on phones and stuff. I think I do a great job. By the way, but anyway, I was gonna say like I feel like when people don't credit their filmers or like who took their pictures, I'm
I'm
like that is so weird. I'm like without that person,
yeah,
you would not have content. Like
I'm
I'm
guilty of
like,
that whenever someone films me, mainly because I
hey
am
man, you
so
got to shout out the man or the woman
yeah.
or the person behind the lens straight up.
And my friend will give me into trouble for it, and I'm like, you do realize this is not a slight against you. If anything, this is just another perfect example of how truly awful I am at social media. Like half the time, I won't even like tag the thing. Like, say I was like
Hey,
promoting something for Wheelsy, I won't even like
you can
tag
edit it
Wheelsy in it.
later and tag them.
I also didn't know that for the longest time. Someone was like, "You do know you can just go
Are you
back in
serious?
and like
Okay.
fix it up," and I was like,
Okay.
"I'm really like, I can't express how shit I am at this."
Wow. How old are you? Sorry.
I'm
Like you're
40.
probably 40,
I'm
huh?
40. Hey, whoa! Don't go over 40. I'm 40, right? Don't
I
go
said
over. Right?
43. Like
Whoa,
that's
that is over 40. 43 is
I'm
over
30.
40.
Okay, listen. So as far as being like an old person and feeling old, I think with skating it's like you're only skating if you're physically capable. And the people that are good are usually people that take care of themselves. And people, hey, you're not doing push-ups?
I mean, yeah, I take care of myself, but then like
No. You do things,
I
but
also
no.
drink
In
heavily at the
life,
weekend and party and stuff
well,
like that. But
exactly.
I
But
do
in
take
life,
care of
you
myself.
compensate. In life, you just find balance. So even
Yeah.
if you do, like, I quit drinking because, like, I was the kind of person that, like, there was, like, no end to it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just kind of was a part of my life kind of stuff. Kind of dark. But I mean, like, I just like I'm at that point now where I've found a lot like of balance between like if I have like a shitty meal or something, like I really have to focus on what I eat for the next one. But I don't like try to live my life differently. Or like if you drink and get fucked up, also know that like at some point like it is just also your body and it can you've had enough at some point, like it's hard to rationalize that, but also just being like no, like I feel like drinking or doing anything like that is just all this is going to sound like really preachy, but it's just like a lot of people don't realize that nobody's making them do it. Like
Yeah.
nobody's making you drink. Like at some point, like it's just like, but I want to. But it's also like you're kind of I don't know why I'm just talking about drinking, but like I'm not doing like a talk or anything. But the thing is just like, yeah, nobody's making you do anything basically in those moments. So like you can also just have a good time, but also sleep in, but then take care of yourself in the
Yeah.
morning. And it's like taking shifts on realizing that like you're not gonna be perfect ever. But like when we are actually like hard on ourselves, it's actually harder to like have healthier habits because we're like, I'm already fucking up. Let's just do this for 3 more days. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah. See, I go the
Like you
other way.
fall into
I
cycles and you're
yeah.
like, why is it like this? But it's
Yeah.
like yourself. Like,
I go the other way. I get like guilt. So like if I eat like junk food or whatever, then I'm like, God, I feel pretty crappy. Or you feel like a bit lethargic or like not too great. And then I'm like, right, need to eat better. Or then yeah, like for example, if me and my partner like drink heavily like one weekend, then I'm like, right, can't do that next weekend. That's ridiculous. Like that was you did that too much. Like that's enough. Like right. So I get like the personal guilt where you like feel bad about yourself. And you're like, right, why are you doing this to yourself? Like you don't need to do that. Like it doesn't make you feel nice. And then yeah, you go to the gym or you eat healthy or
well,
you like adjust your habits.
yeah. But the thing is, I'm just saying you kind of like choose to feel guilty about it or not. Like the reason it persists is because it's not even about guilt. It's just about realizing that the reason you feel bad is probably because that's not good. Like
I think the guilt's a good thing. I think the guilt like
the
stops.
guilt does
I
help,
think the
but
guilt stops it becoming something that you take
it
advantage
doesn't.
of too much.
Okay, for me, another reason I quit is because like there's too many like moments I don't recall or like moments that are just like that's not even who I am. Like what the fuck? Um, just feeling like I'm not in control of my own life, you know? Like my body is doing stuff, but like my brain is somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's just like that just sounds like the most fucked up thing to experience. Like your body will do that. And then like it just made me think about like my brain, like how like your body works, the anatomy of everything. And I just like, I don't know. I try to be wise these days, you know what I mean? Because it's not good that I have like all this resentment. I just kind of wish that I like figured it out sooner. Like, I guess, like, I don't know. If something's not working out, you just don't continue to do it, is all I'm saying. And at least with skating, like, you're an athlete for real. Like, if you want good results, you need to treat yourself good.
That's it. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of squats like in and out of just like work. Like I look like a weirdo, I'm just like doing weird stretches, like holding on to things, but that should be normalized because I'm like, why shouldn't people feel good? Like the reason people don't feel good is because people think it's weird to be doing these things, but our bodies should always be moving.
Yeah.
Like the way that our bodies heal is our blood is being pushed through these things, even bruises. Like bruises form because it's a collection of blood. And when your heart's resting, like it's gonna stay there longer. Like you want to move those things, which is another reason why I'm skating, I guess, because of my ribs. But I do need to chill. I do need to chill.
I do. I've got a couple of friends who are like, God, you're like skating amazing. And you're 40, you're skating. They're like, I can't wait till I get to 40 and I can skate like that. And I'm like, no, no, that's not what's happening. What's happening
It
is
hurts,
I
right?
no, what's happening is I eat a lot healthier. I'll still like to drink like quite heavily once in a while, but like I eat really well. I exercise pretty much like every day or every other day. I was like, I go for giant walks. I go to the gym like 3 times a week, and they're like, oh, so it's not just hitting you've not just like hit a level. And I'm like, no, like a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
work is
It's
required.
maintenance. It's
Yeah.
consistent. But it's funny though, because all of that to like a sober person sounds fun because it's things to do. Like, and also all of that stuff scientifically will just make you a better person. Like physically. I'm not like,
Yeah.
like I'm just like there's no way treating your body good isn't gonna work better. Like, but
Yeah.
yes, I mean you find that balance because like you do what you want to do, but also like it's also like coming to terms with like mortality even is just like even age itself, like it's kind of like an inevitable, but like you don't really have to put like the thought into like what age do I have to actually slow down because that kind of is like fully reliant on what you're doing now to make sure that you can skate later.
Within
Like, and
reason,
that's where I'm
within
at
to a
now.
certain extent. Not like you
Yeah.
can't.
You
It's
could
not like
already be too broke off
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like I'm there. Like I'm doing like I got a trainer for a second, but I was doing like rehabilitation type stuff. Like I have like really bad arthritis in my wrists. I have pretty bad ankles. I had like a ligament surgery. I had I mean, I had like a bunch of shoulder dislocations when I was younger, and then I actually broke that. That was like my first traumatic experience. My friend Martin was there, and Vince, and I think Sean, or maybe it was just Martin and Vince, but that was probably the worst injury, and that was like my introduction to like pain out the gate. So I think my threshold's just like at a fucked up level.
Right.
Yeah, because yeah, that was bad, but
Okay.
sorry.
So you're in Yandriel Silverio's house. You guys have been hanging out a lot. He's been living. How long has he been living in Chicago now? Because he was in where was it?
He was
Ohio
in
before.
Rockford. He was in Rockford.
He was in Rockford before. I can't remember when I spoke to him. He was driving quite a long way to get into Chicago to skate. Maybe it was Rockford.
Yeah, Rockford's far.
Um,
Uh,
so like I feel like you guys are kind of like kindred spirits and you're both quite obsessive personalities anyway, because in recent like you guys recently seem to be like filming each other a lot, just like on your phones or whatever, or like sessioning quite a lot.
nah. Well, he's always like doing something that like, why aren't you filming that? And like, I'm kind of just skating as well. And I guess, I mean, we just both really like to skate in general. So, I mean, if like I'm gonna skate, I usually hit him up, or there's a quite a few people I hit up, but things get like filmed when I'm with Yandi because we both kind of know how to film and have a direction or an idea that we both kind of get, I suppose,
Okay.
when filming or what like tricks. Like we kind of tell each other like what's up. Like he'll ask me stuff, I'll help him out. Like I help vice versa, like obviously, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I'm at his house. We've become better friends since he's moved here. He's been here for like I want to say like just over a year, but he's doing the whole landlord thing right now, and he's like
Okay.
rebuilding his house in the back, and that's wild. Yanni does a lot of things. That's admirable. Uh, I work full time and I'm alive, so
What do you do for work?
I'm a lead bike mechanic for this company called Divvy. They're like the city bikes.
I was about to say,
Uh,
do you mean like pedal bikes or motorbikes? But you mean pedal bikes,
we have electronic bikes, and then
right?
we also have like regular bikes. But yeah, I've been there the longest. There's a lot of turnover right now. We used to have a lot of like actual like bike mechanics. Now we kind of just take anybody, but I'm kind of in the lead role because I've kind of had seniority and I know everything, and I just have to kind of like knock some common sense into people uh sometimes, but it's a fun job.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I have plans with that maybe because I wanted to move maybe at some point. So yeah.
Move where?
Uh, After going to New York, I was thinking New York, but only because I'm kind of on this skating kick and I just skated around. I basically like lived there. I acted like I did at least. So like, I don't know, there was just like a lot of spots and I could transfer because of my job. I have friends there. I made friends with the Korean dudes. Do you know who I'm talking about? Korean New York?
Oh, Korean. Sorry, I thought you said
Korean.
Korean.
You thought I was saying Korean? I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
I wouldn't say anything
I know who
like
you mean.
that.
Like,
That's
you mean like
specific.
Sean and those guys. Sean
Yeah.
Grossman.
I mean, I remember him from BMAG, so we like go way back when it comes to being internet friends. But I feel like I have internet friends everywhere, and that's just because of skating or people that had talked to me like since my Razor days. And it's just funny, like it's a crazy timeline to like exist in, and it's all kind of like evolved around skating, and all this other stuff existed, which is why I'm rambling because there's just so much that has happened in my life since I've started, like that I don't even know where to start. So I'm kind of confused.
You've just reminded me of a very funny story that I'm going to try and jog your memory about. I got sent an email chain years and years ago. It was like, oh, I want to
Was I
say
on it?
you were on it. So
Hmm.
the email chain was Jeff Howard just got his first pro skate. And Razors used to do these team edits where everyone on the team would promote the pro skate in like a montage. And
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Jeff sent round an email basically giving people guidance on what tricks to do and how to execute them. And he'd just seen David Sizemore's Valo Pro introduction thing. And he was like, like Sizemore, like he does the backslide down the kink and comes out forward. And then the very next response is Brian Aragon going, so what you want me to do is put your pro skate on and go skating and tell myself, what would Jeff do? And Aragon got a bit pissy about it. And you jumped to Jeff's defense, saying, this is obviously a big deal for him. It's his pro skate. Like he obviously cares. Like, why don't we rally behind him? And I feel like you were trying to be like a positive influence in this thread. But the whole thing, when I read it, like it was hilarious to me. But yeah, I do remember you had one of the responses in that thread because you were obviously on the team and getting free skates, and I imagine would have had a couple of clips and like some kind of like team montage thing.
Yeah. I mean, I did my own edit for that. And I mean, I was talking to Jeff at the time. I don't like even really remember that. I was on the internet all the time. It was the worst. And I was like, sorry, drinking probably. But like I never meant anything bad by anything. But yeah,
You didn't say anything bad. If anything, it
I
just
know, no, I
it
was
felt like you were
defending
like
him. I'm
trying to
just
be a
saying, I was just
mediator.
saying, I just meant when I'm like on the internet typing to people, like I'm not like just talking shit. I don't do that. But yeah, I mean, I do remember there being threads because there was like a group where like we even had one on Facebook, and it was like everybody on the team, and that's how they would get edits is they would just say what they wanted, or not like trick wise, but just being like, hey guys, like submit your clips in these skates, like whatever.
Yeah.
And I do remember that, but I also remember filming my like not doing any of that. And I don't even remember if there was a Jeff Howard edit with the team. I don't think
I
there
don't think
was.
there was. I don't think one ever
No,
actually
there
came of it.
wasn't. Yeah. I don't think there was. I mean, who knows? I was like I stepped down from Razors because like I felt like I wasn't doing enough because I was like obviously cared about other things. Like I was like naturally good at skating, but I was just like not caring about skating as much. And then I obviously eventually got hurt, but like I just never felt like I could make a like part that was gonna be like good because I was just like in another world at that time, you know?
Yeah, I don't know though. You were like you had all those tricks both ways, and like you were the skate park footage I saw of you. I was like, he's got a huge trick vocabulary. So
Yeah. I mean, um, I don't know if it's because of the way I like backslide or torque or like I think about it a lot because like switch true porns feel better than regular ones, but I have to do regular ones on higher things. Like it's just, you know what I mean? Like
but
it's,
you learned them both ways because you broke your ankle, right?
I mean, I had problems
Or is that the
when I
lie
was
that you
young. Yes,
tell
like a
everyone?
lot of this is going off of like my Razors podcast, which was also excruciating for me because like as much as I like seem extroverted, like all of this seems so crazy to me. Like even if people call me on FaceTime, I'm like, what are you doing? Like I'm like, like the phone exists to just I don't say all that, but I feel like with FaceTime, I don't know how to look at a screen and feel like I'm looking at a
I
person.
do know what you mean. I find it really difficult. I intentionally, whenever I do any of these, all I do is focus on the person. I don't look at myself, because if you look at yourself, you're like, wow, like it's like weird.
Well,
It's
it's
like
nice on this Zoom. You can make it small.
exactly. But it's like, imagine it'd be like the equivalent to like being on a dinner date, but your date having a mirror behind them, and all you can see is yourself looking and talking at your date. You're like, I don't need this.
That's weird. Yeah, yeah.
Don't do that to me.
Yeah, and also it says like recorded on the top left. And I'm like, I don't know what I look like. And I'm like, are you the kind of person that would let me know if there's something on my
I
face?
mean,
Like,
there's a bit of goo like hanging right out your nose, right down your mustache there. But other than that, you're good. Other than that,
is
you're
it actual good?
no.
Oh man. Well, I've been sneezing and like honestly, I'd appreciate it. So
You don't. Right.
are there some
Chicago.
things you do want to cover? Because I know I'm jumping around a lot
I
and I know you're
do.
headed
I
out,
do.
but
So one thing, you've obviously been a part of the Chicago scene for years. I'm a huge fan of so many Chicago skaters. We've already talked about Sean Darst, Dylan Davis, the Honeybake guys, Matthew Ladusky, or Luda, as everyone calls him,
Luda. Yeah.
Colin Martin. A little bit further afield, but Travis Rhodes. He's in the kind of Illinois kind
He
of,
lived here for a good, like a lot of people pass through Chicago.
yeah.
So
Like I feel like there's who are some of your like local favorites from like
current or all time? All right.
both, because I feel
Man,
like it's
that's
gets
crazy because I skate with these people, so I can't like just say things like who's. But I guess I do have favorites. I mean, like, there's like people that come to mind when you think of like people from Chicago, like PJ, Rory, Eddie Dombrowski. I don't know if like, but like like these are all people that were like in magazines, went to
yeah,
competitions, like
yeah.
people I kind of looked up to. Um,
Because Rory's doing
Rory does
skip
skip boot
skip boozing,
scene.
yeah.
Colin's still, I mean, there's people still involved, but I mean, like PJ also skates. He's on Gods,
Oh,
but
you're
like I
right.
don't really
I know who
see him a lot.
you're talking about Paul John. Sorry, when people say PJ, I like, right, got you, Paul John. Yes, of course, no Paul goes to real street contests every year and cleans up. Yeah,
Yeah, well, like that's his agenda, Some people are like that. Like I'm the kind of person who just wants to skate all the time, but when it like yeah, I mean, like I just see him, he pops up for business, He's
yeah.
like I'd like to see him skate more, but I don't hit him up either, so maybe it's my fault. But anyways, there's been a lot of people that have passed through, but like the people who I skate with currently, John Gantz.
Okay, yeah.
He doesn't even have an Instagram right now or a YouTube. Oh wait, he has a YouTube, but
He does,
I
because
don't know it.
I've seen footage. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because I'll like say that if people want exclusive content to John Gantz, they have to follow me because I will post his clips because they're always really dope. And I'll just like airdrop them to him, like I'll film them. So I skate a lot with him. Um, People out of Chicago. I mean, obviously Sean, like, that was like my best friend. Like we went to like school together,
All right,
you
no
know?
way.
Yeah, I mean, like we met each other like at a skate park, but that was like when I was like a freshman and he was like young, like 14. I think I was like 16. Like I'm 30, 34. He's slightly younger. But yeah, obviously Sean, that's a hard question. There's so many actual like I could answer that forever. There's like I like everybody skating, but like people I like watching skate. Like Jared does a lot. My friend Alec, he's always behind the camera, but see like when you say people, I imagine like people like that they say see clips of, but I mean like sometimes my
True, there is that
Like,
as well. Or yeah,
because it's
whenever,
just like when you see clips of them, I can only name like people that put out clips, which is,
yeah,
but there's so many people in Chicago that we have like videos. My friend Jordan Thomas makes amazing videos. His Instagram is null set. Um,
okay,
him, they like do their own thing, and I respect them because they just skate at night and they just make like the best vibes. Like it's just like always a little bit like interesting. I enjoy the artistry of it. You should check it out. And it's
no,
cool skating. Like they
how
like hammers and
how do you spell it? Null set. So like NU.
Nullset. But it's just an Instagram,
NULLSET.
but I think it's a YouTube account. You can find
Right.
it through Instagram. But anyways,
I got
that's
a bit.
Nick and Jordan.
Right.
But they're really good. I like them. But I know everybody, so it's hard not to just talk about people.
Yeah.
Like, skating is pretty niche as it is, and I can't just be like, oh, I like Rory because people know him, but I like everybody. They're all
Yeah.
my friends.
My biggest problem is when someone asks you, you go, oh, because I
Well,
always
you
think,
say in Chicago, I can name like my favorite skaters, probably.
but I always think of it like generationally as well. And I'm like, well, I like love these people when like the first 10 years I was rollerblading, then the next 10 years I was really into these people. And then I'm like, oh, if I had to choose of all time, then when you have to choose, it's like when someone goes like, name your favorite album, and you're like, well, that's not possible. Like there's just
There's so much.
there's so many that had such a huge impact or like work for
Yeah,
different
because you really
reasons.
get thinking.
Yeah. Or that you keep coming back to, or that don't stand the test of time, but were very important to you for like an important
Yeah,
part of
those
your
are
life.
questions that'll haunt me.
Yeah.
It's hard to answer. I'm like, how could I have left that super nice person out that's super nice to me that is actually
Yeah.
awesome. Like it's hard to
Um,
pick favorites. I don't ever really like doing it, but I mean I could judge a skate comp because it's pretty obvious, but like I have outstanding skater awards like in my head like of the day, but everybody has their days and I just like seeing everybody skate. Our scene right now, like the scene has just changed a lot. Like I've obviously like I guess I'll just talk about how it is here. Like I skate with there's like a few people that have cameras. So like we're all talking to each other like in a chat and everybody does skate. Like there's a lot of people skating, but like there's not a lot coming out of Chicago. So I think putting like Yandi's stuff out and
I was
like
about to say,
actual Chicago, like
like
film downtown,
he puts out his
like
own
there's not a
sections,
lot of it, like
but then he also
yeah,
puts out stuff like showing the other
everywhere.
skaters. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, Yandi travels a lot for work, but like there's not a whole lot of stuff coming like out of Chicago. There's not like a lot of content being seen right now. Like cuz Colin films in like other places with people he films with. Sometimes Malcolm will make videos, but he'll also film like in LA with Sean
I do know what you mean. Yeah. Like
or
they
this
they
and
travel
that.
about.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So like I put out that section and people are like, one of my friends was just like, oh, like I like how you can tell like it's not New York or something. Like it's like no, it's like hard to put Chicago on the map. A lot of people haven't really been here. People also like expect it to just be like dope, but like I'm used to the spots. Like there's not a whole bunch to skate. You skate downtown, you get kicked out. Like there's a whole bunch of tourists, but I like living here, but everything is getting pricier as well.
Yeah.
But as far as the scene goes,
I mean, it's got to be strong for the fact that every time there's a Windy City riot, like it looks like a huge event. Like it looks like a lot of people show out for it.
it's the people behind the scene though. That's what I'm saying. Like I wish we just had more of a presence. I was just saying like basically like how my section is just like, oh, I wish more people like saw like these skate videos that my friends are making. I wish like I share it, but it's like nobody's like just clicks on links all the time. They're
Yeah.
like just scrolling through stories. Some people do, like, but there's so much stuff going on here. It's just like everybody has their groups. But like lately, my friend Chris McCormick, he puts together the Windy City Riot with Dave. And that's like a yearly thing. But like this year, we all kind of did it collectively, where like we kind of had like a council, and that was pretty good because I have to turn my sound off real quick. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it was just my phone audio. Okay, so we were doing that, and like, yeah, there's a lot of people that like we want to put Chicago on the map because it just like isn't like some, which is weird because it's like a major city, but like we have good skaters here, and I just wish more people knew. I feel like anybody should do that with their own scene as well. Like I feel like the biggest thing is just like really getting out and skating sometimes, but I just like pushing content for like your area, like makes more people skate. Like more people are skating because me and Yandi and other people like they see us skate. So they're like, oh, I want to skate. You know, it's just like kind of just starting like a domino effect of like, oh, you're already skating, hit me up next time. You know? Like
Yeah, but I feel like the Chicago scene, people know the skaters, but then I guess I do know what you mean in the other respect that like because you've got like Matthias St. John and stuff like that that's been in big videos and been in Dom West videos like Vine Street 2 and stuff like
exactly.
that.
We have periods.
And you've
Yeah.
got like Colin Martin who appears in like loads of them edits, and you've got Sean Darce, or you've got like Malcolm Herd who like made like the Chinatown hardware stuff. And so, but then I get what you mean, as in it's not like
It's
it's
hard to
not.
associate it with Chicago.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's not, most of it isn't in
It,
Chicago. It's like
it's not in
they are making a
Chicago.
name for themselves, but they're doing it in different places. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what Sean had to do, and I get it because like him and Malcolm, like we all grew up as like children. Like you could see like Vimeo videos of stuff. Like is like being we're like hanging out in whose house was that? I think it was Malcolm's. We would hang out in his garage and stuff, and like we'd hang out at Bina's house, and we would just skate. And that was like right before Haitian. But yeah, what was I going on about? I'm so sorry. I
Like
had
just
a
like
few questions as
representing the
well.
local scene. But then actually, now that I think about it, the Chicago scene also has like big videos. Now, I might get some of these wrong or mixed up and be in wrong places, but Smell the Onion was from Chicago, right?
Okay, so all those Chicago videos are made by Andrew Kezlowskis. I
And
hope I'm saying that right. Huh?
Rushing Roulette as well,
Rushing Roulette, abstract art,
and Abstract Art.
and
And then the tech videos, were the tech videos not from Chicago, or was it just or was it, I'm mixing those up with Abstract Art?
that's JB something.
JB Snyder, I am mixing it up. JB Snyder, those were like
He's
Arizona
from
videos.
like Perry, which is like around. See, well, that's what I'm saying. Like Chicago, Illinois is big.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like Chicago is small. Like Chicago has a scene. Like a lot of these people who are skating or like live here now, like live here and are just like passing by. Like our friend Cedric is from here, but like he lives in Milwaukee now. Like
Cedric
the
Tippett, is
scene
that the
like
guy
comes
that's
and
on
goes, but
Razors?
like huh?
Cedric, is that the Cedric Tippett guy that's just put a thing for Razors not too long ago?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my friend. He grew up with Bina, you know, like
Okay.
I mean, there's just a lot of stuff. I mean, like it jumps around a lot, so I'm kind of getting discombobulated, but I'm trying to keep it together. So
Um, there was someone I was trying to remember as well who was sponsored by Seba for a while, and he was from Illinois, and I can't.
oh, that you're thinking of Michael Fromling, and he's from Wisconsin.
Michael Fromling as well. Yeah, because yeah,
He's also my friend, yeah, but like
I
he's from
loved his
Wisconsin.
skating, and then yeah, he just kind of disappeared. But I think because he was always attending those real street events there, it's like I
Yeah,
always just associated him with that scene. Yeah, and he was appearing in those videos as well. So
yeah,
because he was
Fromling's
in
amazing, and
he was in he was in
huh?
abstract art too, right? I'm sure he was
He
in
was in
this.
abstract art too.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sean had a section in there. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, abstract art and abstract art too. Like it's mostly like Illinois and Wisconsin, like
right.
border.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, Michael Fromling's still great. He's a great skater. Um, he's one of my favorites. But he's always just been forever good. Like I remember, like there's people that have been like forever good. like like Saba. Do you know Saba and Jonas?
Yes, Silverheld. Yes,
Yeah. Well, they like lived in Chicago for a little bit. Like they were always good.
they did. I
Like
remember that. Yeah.
Nick was always good. Tin was always good. Like Tin has a section in Brain God, and it's just so good.
I,
And I was,
I'm
I mean,
wondering if
maybe I
that.
shouldn't say all that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
Like
wondering if that video is
Andrew,
ever going to come out, and I'm also curious about how old some of that footage is
well,
because
I went to the premiere, and yeah, Tin actually told me. I mean, basically, it was filmed over 3 years, and like a lot of the people involved didn't really know what it was going for. I mean, I can't speak on behalf of people, so I don't know if you want to use all this. But what I was told is that from Tin, he was like, I had no idea he was making a section of me the whole time. And he's like,
right.
had I known, I would have done way better tricks. But I hope you liked it. Thank you. Like, it was just funny, but it's just if you haven't seen it, it's really just visually really amazing. I feel like if you try to put it into a box of like whether it's like art or skating, like you'd have a maybe a strong opinion one way or the other, but it's just I'm glad I saw it in a theater setting because it was like beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I love Andrew Nemirovsky's skating.
yeah,
I
he
love the
does a
stuff
good
he's made.
job.
I hate all the Abibis stuff. I hate the Abibis videos. I don't enjoy watching those at all. It just feels like such a like random like mind splurge. But I'm really
I think it's a
interested to
lot of
see Brain God.
yeah,
I do think it'll be good. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we don't have to go on about it, but that's fine. Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think that like Andrew's thing is that like it's also like part of his life outside of skating, and he's trying to appeal to more than just his skating friends.
Yeah.
I think it just involves skating, so he's just trying to make it like multifaceted because he's like a business guy. He's a smooth criminal, that guy. But yeah, everything he does is pretty good, and I think that's why people get behind it because there's like lore to Beavis, you know? And
Yeah.
maybe that's what people also don't like about it is that it's just like it's just lore. Like it's just this idea that it's sick. And I'm like, well, you make it sick and so do the people involved, but I mean, in any type of like group, like there's two groups in New York, like you do wonder, do they hang out? Like it's the Korean dudes and the Bodega Boys, and yeah, I'm sure they do, but like,
Ooh, ooh, I'm going to cut you off there. There's more than
yeah,
two.
yeah, there's a few, but I mean,
There's
it's
your
like,
if Jordan William if Jordan Baez oh, I always get his name wrong. If Jordan finds out you don't mention ghetto community, they're got like an army.
okay, yeah, sorry, ghetto community. They're all really nice guys. But that's what I'm saying. Everybody kind of has like their niche. I feel like in Chicago, at least, sorry to go back to that, like I just want everybody to be skating. Like I'm helping, like I talk to a lot of the newer people because like why wouldn't I be helping people? Like I'm here as someone with experience. I don't like mansplain to people, but I'm just like, like if I see somebody doing like I am in a position where I could help people, so I try to do that. Like, and there's like a large community of like like 20s, younger 20s, like mid 20s people also skating or just getting into it, and I skate with them. And it's just fun skating with people that like are also just learning because they're just stoked on everything, which is not like stoked on everything, but it's just like it kind of just like, yeah, it is just about being like stoked the whole time. It's not about like getting caught up and getting angry at yourself because you suck one day. Maybe you just need to do like a zero spin, like uh I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot there's a lot of things and I do bounce around. So I'm gonna take a breath.
Right.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to ask you about, and then we'll let you go because yeah, it's the middle of the afternoon there, and it's getting late at night here. Um, New York Street Invite Metro Card Classic. You mentioned about like potentially wanting to move to New York. What's what is the how does it compare to like living and skating in Chicago, like being in New York and skating in New York? Because I feel like they're both, especially in the city center, perhaps potentially quite hectic places. So were there any like comparisons or like any like differences that you noticed that made New York more appealing perhaps, or like made you think that you'd consider living there?
Um, yeah, I mean, there was a few things. I mean, specifically just because I feel like confident right now with where I'm at with skating, like just skating in a new place, like everything I do felt new. Like with skating, it's kind of with skating in Chicago, it's like a gray area where I'm like having to do things or like do new things. Um, I don't know. Like I've lived in Chicago for a long time, and I've also just done a lot of things in Chicago, like like living like life in general,
Yeah.
where I'm just like if I'm ever going to have a time to do something where I'm going to feel like motivated and it felt right, it would feel like moving to New York because I have a job potentially lined up. And I really just kind of want to focus, like, for myself, at least, just to be like skating, because mostly like skating really like centers me, like I skate all the time, whether it be like alone or with people. Like I skate 3 to 4 times a week, and I just feel like I could be alone there and still feel comfortable. Like Chicago's violent as well. Like I mean, there's a lot of shit going on. Like my friend Joe Escobar just sent me a video of like that was on Instagram of somebody rolling down like my street with uh like a assault gun, like assault rifle. And it's just like kids on the streets, just like having guns basically. And it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever. But also, like, in New York, like, there's a lot of chaos, but like, it's mostly just people being weird. Here in Chicago, people are weird with weapons, like, and it's just like way different. And like, there's drugs everywhere. There's this kind of, and like, people said it would be dirty because they don't have alleys. They just have like a way better system of getting the garbage too, though, like when it comes down to like little things, it's like not really that, but also just experiencing a new place. Like I still want to be around music and be able to ride my bike around whatever city I'm in. I don't like driving, but driving opens up a lot of doors for like skate trips
Yeah.
and stuff. But like in the Midwest, you have to go places. Like Chicago's not on the map because it's like mostly like areas and then just like nothingness. So
I got that impression.
like
Yeah. I've been to Chicago once, but I was like
yeah,
14,
it's like it's
15.
the bean, and then like 40 miles out, it's corn, just forever. But not really
I
like
don't
that.
know
It
if the
gets
bean
out into
even
southern
existed when I
Illinois.
went there. Yeah.
Oh, the
Um,
bean didn't exist. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it did then.
It's a great selfie reflective
I've seen it.
object.
Yeah, I've seen it since. Yeah. So, how was New York Street Invite? Because it seemed like quite kind of like basically like a weekend's worth of skate slash events. Because obviously you had the Brain God premiere, you had the two competitions. There was a lot of people in town. Like you mentioned that you hung about with people that perhaps you'd previously only interacted with on the internet, like Eugen Ennen. I'm pretty sure that was Eugen Ennen's first time in the US.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I mean, he was pretty excited to be there. Um, Yeah, and it was the first. There was so many international pros that it was just like insane. Like we showed up to a basketball court. Basically, that was the day of the Boshi, and
Oh,
like the people that were like rolling in were just like you to go to. Like it was just like it's fine. I get it. They're just people, but also it's just like why are you in the same place I'm in? It's just like wild sometimes because I'm just like I've been to Bitter Cold. I've been like everywhere in the Midwest. I went to Blade Cup like years ago, but yeah, New York was just like a crazy experience of there was just so many people, and it was just like really cool to see everybody like all skating like at that level of being excited to be there. Like Billy did a great job. There was like three other people that helped him. They were all mostly pretty nice, but they were my judges as well, so I can't say they were all nice. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But like, yeah, no, the way, well, it's just crazy to like, you know, like the people in my heat, I'm like, are straight up like pro skaters. And I'm just like, I guess, you know, like I guess I can skate good, but also I'm like, I'm not them.
Yeah, you're like this feels
But like,
this feels disproportionate, but okay.
well, no, but it doesn't. It doesn't, because I mean, you're good at what you do, and vice versa. Like for me, like skating's not about like one upping people. Like it was the best experience, like being able to participate with everybody because you're all kind of just stoked on each other's stuff. Like, and the fact that it was just like everybody was like very open. Like I think that was like the first time I actually met Danny Beer,
Okay.
but like we talked a lot. Like, and that was the first time I met Mick Castles. He's a great guy. I think he's doing a sobriety thing right now as well. And he's doing really well with that. You know, just a lot of good people like in the same space is really cool. So I'm definitely just more of that.
All right. All right.
Just more skating, more contests.
Last question, then I'll let you go. Have you got any plans for any other events in the future? Like what's the next thing in your calendar?
Event wise,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure what's coming up next. I usually don't like save up. I mean, I wanted to go to a Blade Cup thing in whenever they're doing it because I think they canceled their fall one.
Big
But
camp.
that just makes me assume that like the next one will be even better. Who
Next one,
knows?
yeah.
But
Next one's likely to
yeah,
be
I mean, you
Spring Cup,
definitely
yeah.
want to focus your energy. I think that's a smart move. So probably that. But I mean, nothing's for sure. In the meantime, I'm just trying to heal
Okay.
because I have a lot of things going on with my body at this point. So I'm just trying to get to a point where I could just confidently skate. But yeah.
And then you and Yandriel are going to cook up a new heater, and we're going to see a new Gabe Talamantes street part. That's what's happening. There he is. Hello, handsome. How you doing?
Dude, did you hear the floor creak?
I did
Yeah.
not, but I saw you glancing, so I knew he was there.
He's quiet as a mouse. Yeah.
Your car keys?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that was the last question anyways. But yeah, sorry I was like rambling. I was like
That's
kind of nervous and I just felt like
Rambling is
if I
good.
could,
We
huh?
like we like rambling. Rambling is good. Rambling is
I'm sure
fine.
you'll just look at like whatever you have. I'll wear the exact same thing, sit in the same spot if there's anything you left out. We'll pretend it never happened.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
But
I'll leave you and Yandriel to move in your car that's parked on double yellows.
yeah, it's gotta get moved, otherwise I'm getting a ticket. He's a nice guy. He's a nice
Right.
guy. Yeah. Well,
But
it was good to actually meet you. Thank
you
you
too.
again. So take
And
care.
hope you heal up soon and we get a new part out of you.
That I want to do. I want to film a lot more. That's another thing I'll say. I want to do a lot more filming.
I'll
So
hold you to
you'll
that.
see more stuff.
Right.
Cool.
Speak soon.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.